being picked up on the microphone. The only other thing is, gentlemen, hats are not warranted to be worn in the city council chambers, so please remove your hats prior to the meeting, and we will start in a little less than 3 minutes. Thank you.
And you're gonna be
Melissa, do you see Ann Hartman?
Annie? Oh.
I think she's back to work. What if I just like... Is this a no bid contract?
Clearly.
She can have their trouble.
Just like the We actually have, not even retired.
There's a That's all I see.
One of our fellow
Look what you did. Look what you did.
Call City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Order, could I have roll call, please?
Yes, Councilmember Spendy.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Dodson.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Bulkey.
Here.
McCann.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Mayor Jessup.
Here.
You have all 7 of the mayor present.
Thank you. Would everyone please rise as Councilmember Burbank leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, good evening. We've got a full agenda in front of us tonight. We do have one addition. It's 3.3.4, a tobacco license for K&L Co-op doing businesses West Hills One Stop. With that one correction, I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve, by the second. Second by Brent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up tonight is Mayor Jessup. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Council President Rainey. Thank you so much. I've got a couple of items tonight. First off, 2 proclamations for a couple of young men that I've gotten a chance to know over the last several years. Stephen Sennett and Dawson Levy of Troop 253 here in Oton. Recently achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. So I have proclamations congratulating those 2 gentlemen on all of their hard work. And second proclamation is in recognition of Juneteenth. On June 19th, 1865, enslaved residents of the state of Texas found out that they were free. And it is a pleasure for me to proclaim the 19th day of June as Juneteenth in Owatonna and urge people to attend the Juneteenth celebration at Manatee Park from 5 to 8 this Friday.
Anything else?
That is it. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. So next up is the consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of city council meeting minutes, other board commission minutes, licenses, permits, and miscellaneous items all grouped together for the council to review prior to the meeting and vote on collectively. With that, I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda items. So moved. Motion by Don to approve, do I have a second? Second. Second by Doug. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda has been approved. For our action items tonight, first up, we have no ordinances, so first up is resolution 3.2.1, resolution 54-26, release right of first offer for 545 Florence Avenue for Lee Foundation. And with that, we go to City Attorney Mark Walbrand. Good evening.
Resolution that's part of the council tonight is to consider releasing its right of first offer to purchase the former West Hills Lodge building from the Lee Foundation. The background is this. The Lee Foundation is a nonprofit corporation established by Dr. Lawrence Lee and Anna Lee. The foundation purchased the property from Azul Opportunities LLC on December 15th, 2020. Azul purchased the property from the West Hills Lodge, Inc. on December 19th of 2020. On September 1 of 1981, the county conveyed the property to the city, facilitated the transfer to the West Hills Lodge Incorporated to include the following restrictions. 1, the property was to be used as a halfway house for persons who were either alcoholic or chemically dependent persons. And if such use ceased, the title would revert back to Steele County. And further, if Steele County ever desired to sell the property, the city would have the first opportunity to buy the same. On December 4th of 2020, the county released its previous deed restrictions to that building. And on January 6, 2021, the city released the property from its previous deed restrictions, and the city and the foundation entered into the Lee Foundation, the city and the Lee Foundation entered into a new agreement which included the following 2 new restrictions. First, if the foundation ever decided to sell the property, it would give the city written notice of its intent. The city would then have the right of first offer for 60 days to purchase the property. A right of first offer is similar to a right of first refusal. The right of first offer provides the opportunity to bid on the property before it is put on the market. The second item in the agreement with the Lee Foundation was that the foundation and its successors, entitled agree that any exterior changes to the property are to be first referred to the West Hills Commission for review and its recommendations, and thereafter submitted to the City Council for approval. This is known as a condition that runs with the land, so that any subsequent owners will be subject to that restriction. On April 30th, the Lee Foundation gave the city notice of its intention to sell the property to a third party, and for $778,000. The 60 days expires on June 29th, and thus the council must decide whether it wishes to make an offer on it before June 29th or to release the Lee Foundation from that requirement.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Walbrand? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Motion by Doug to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Don, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is resolution 3.2.2, 55-26, purchase property on North Street. And with that, we go to our Community Development Director, Troy Klecker. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. The city currently owns the former Semstone property on North Street. acquisition of this property was part of an economic development agreement that allowed Semstone to build a new facility on city-owned land out in the industrial park. The city has utilized some of the storage space at Semstone, but the intention is to redevelop the site from an industrial use to a commercial use. The current site is large, but it does not have frontage on North Street. Access to the site from North Street is through a public right-of-way. The proposed property to purchase is 1.29 acres and does have 200 feet of frontage on North Street. The property combined with the city's property makes for a more developable piece of property. The cost of the property would be $200,000, which is paid for from the EDA. The EDA did approve this purchase at their last meeting. That $200,000 would be paid for out of the EDA land fund, which is not general levy dollars. They are funds that were acquired from the state for the purpose of economic development and must be used for economic development purposes. The property did appraise for $225,000, so the seller is requesting a letter acknowledging a $25,000 donation as part of the sale. Staff would recommend approval of the purchase of the property along North Street as per the EDA's approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Troy? Hearing none, I look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Brent to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, any further discussion? Doug?
I'd just like to reiterate that this is an EDA project. We've had the Semstone property for quite some time, and this kind of finishes the piece of the puzzle so we can get that and have a very marketable piece so we can move that one up. Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is 3.2.3, Resolution 56-26, resolution relating to the issuance of bonds to finance new police station and fire station in the city of Owatonna, calling for a special election thereon. And with that, we go to City Attorney Mark Walden. Oh, John, I'm sorry. City Administrator Tim.
Mark's a good guy. Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This agenda item is related to the issuance of bonds to finance the new police and fire station. On March 3rd of this year, the City Council held a public hearing on the proposed adoption of the capital improvement plan and the issuance of the related general obligation bonds in the maximum principal amount of $65 million. On April 2nd of this year, a petition was filed by the residents of Owatonna seeking a ballot question on the city's proposed issuance of the bonds to fund these projects. On April 15th of this year, the city staff completed the verification process and notified the petitioners that their petition was sufficient. On the 21st of April of 2026, the council adopted a resolution of 4526, which declared the sufficiency of the petition. With that, the following options then was presented to the council of consideration, which is 5 different options to move forward with. One was authorize a vote and submit to voters the question of issuance of the bond. The second one was do not authorize a vote and wait till April 2nd of 2027 to repurpose or repropose issuing the bonds on the project. The third option was the council do not authorize the vote and change the project purpose and the amount of the bonds and seek council approval for such modified bonds and projects. And the fourth option was not authorize the vote and analyze other funding sources for the project. And the fifth option was do not authorize a vote and end the project as a whole. And resolution 5626, by adopting that, would authorize submitting to voters the question of issuing the bonds at a special election held in conjunction with the November 3rd general election. If that would happen, there's several steps to the city clerk staff would need to take in between then. It is the staff's recommendation to submit to the voters the question of issuing the bonds at a special election held in conjunction on the November 3rd, 2026 general election by adopting this resolution 5226. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Nate to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dan, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up tonight is 3.2.4, Resolution 57-26, appointment of designated municipal clerk, Emily Thamert, the assistant city administrator. And with that, we go to city attorney Mark Wahlberg.
I'll take it for you this time. Yes, no problem. It's just, this is really just, addressing some of the opportunities that we have when I'm out of the office and I hold as a city administrator, the city clerk position in the role. And so this is just authorizing myself to designate a city clerk when I'm out, and I'm just looking to do that through naming the assistant city administrator as my designee in those times. And so with that, Mark Walbrand's office has reviewed this and prepared the memo on this, and so the resolution of 5726 is the resolution that would be authorizing me to have a designee city clerk. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions, council? Hearing none, look for motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave to approve, do I have a second? Second. Second by Don, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is Resolution 3.2.5, 58-26, a resolution for governing write-in vote counting, and back to the city attorney Mark Wahlberg.
Yes. The problem of write-in votes is that it's been challenging over the years for counting the same. So this law was adopted by the state legislature, I believe, several years ago, and most recently in 2025, requiring that those persons who are write-in candidates have to request the city to count the ballots in that person's favor, rather than having them tabulated at a later date. So, forgive me, I forgot my notes on this as well, but the recommendation is other sister cities around us have found this to be a better route to go than to have to tabulate all the write-in votes from all the various cities where the persons who are write-in candidates.
Okay, any questions for Mark? Hearing none, look for motion to approve.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve, do I have a second? Second. Second by Don, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mark. We have 4 miscellaneous items tonight. The first is 3.3.1, and new on-sale liquor items for the Grateful Wine Bar and city attorney, city administrator too, huh?
Yes, thank you. The good news is Grateful Wine Bar has been operating at 306 North Cedar number 2 for almost 2 years. Council approved an on-sale wine beer license effective of 8/2024. They are wanting to expand their inventory and requested a full on-sale liquor license effective July 1st. There is some fees included in this transaction, but staff recommends moving forward and approving the liquor license for Grateful Wine.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, look for motion to approve. Motion by Nate to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Brent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that has been approved. Next item is 3.2, letter of agreement for the 2026 lift station program services, and Sean Murphy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're requesting City Council's approval of an agreement with EE2S for our 2026 SCADA programming services for 3 lift stations that we approved earlier this year. So those consist of professional programming services for our PLCs, programmable logic controllers. Services are not to exceed $39,600 without prior authorization. Costs will be paid for using our sanitary sewer funds. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Sean? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Doug to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next up is 3.3.3 ICS Professional Services Agreement for the River Springs Water Park. And for that, we go to Assistant Administrator Emily Famert. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This agenda item is a professional services agreement with ICS for some work at the River Springs Water Park. The water park is a key quality of life amenity here in our community that opened in July of 2009. Facility condition assessment was performed by ICS in 2025 and its consultants, and that identified some facility needs and maintenance over the next 10 years. The base scope of this current proposal, what we are planning to do is, rather than chip away at these improvements year after year, try and bundle them together. So this is taking years 1 through 3 and bundling them together into one comprehensive project. The base scope includes general repairs regarding the gutter grading, crack repair, waterproof gutters, the pool deck, black pool, leisure pool, doing some replaster, remove and replace some ceramic tile, lily pad walk anchors, the lazy river. The full scope of that work is included in the agenda packet. I won't go line by line. Also included in this professional services agreement in the scope is some additional work regarding the sump and drain covers. So there has been a recent change to the interpretation of some of the codes from the Minnesota Department of Health. The city replaced those drain covers in each of the facility basins in 2020. They typically get replaced every 10 years. However, with the recent interpretation from the Department of Health, we are recommending that those all get replaced and brought up to the new interpretation of that code within the scope of this project. And that work would be in the lap pool, the leisure pool, lazy river, and plunge pool. These proposed improvements at the water park were included in the 2026 CIP budget. The ICS fees for base and that additional drain and sump scope total $193,355. The preliminary budget estimate for the project is just over $1.5 million, and those ICS fees are calculated into funding strategy. I do want to be clear with council that our intent would be to issue tax abatement bonds to finance this project if you decide to move forward. So just know that this is approving this agreement with ICS is the first step, and then we'll come back next month with our partners at Ellers to start that process and that funding piece. They are tied together. Chris Zemer from ICS is here with us this evening if there are any additional questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Brent?
Emily, so on this work, do we go for bids for this work, or do we know the price?
ICS will be bidding for us on our behalf under the scope of this professional services agreement.
And then we have an opportunity, if the bids come back more than what we have budgeted for the project, we can cut stuff out of it, or is there other funding sources we could use if it comes over that $1.5 million mark?
We would probably revisit the scope of the project.
And we do that later though, after they come back with the estimates for the work, or the contract.
Chris, do you wanna?
I can reject bids at that point. Or need to find the scope.
You'd have a number of options. You could either cut scope back, or we could look at other funding available to the city to get that done. The scope that's identified in the base scope is really, preserves the basin, so the more you cut back, you're gonna be going back into the basin in future years.
Okay. Is there any work that the city staff can do ourselves to save on this project or not?
No, this is a specialty contractor project.
And then the work would be this fall, I take it, after?
It's split into 2 phases, so demolition would occur this fall, and then the scratch coat of plaster would be applied this fall so it can cure, and then the final coat would occur along with the tile work in the spring before open.
Doug?
Chris, as long as you're at the mic.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, I'm sure Emily's really excited to be in charge of this one tonight, had we had this plan in place 2 years ago, would we be where we are now? Because I don't know if I'd call it a disaster, but it's not too far from a disaster. Would we be open by now if we had had this plan in place 2 years, 3 years ago?
I believe the current issue is separate from the issue that we're addressing. So the piping or whatever the leak that has occurred right now is not due to the basin itself, it's actually due to piping.
Okay. So then my question for staff is, 2009 this opened, we've had it going for, 17 years? 17 years. We don't have a plan how to take care of it? I don't understand. How could we not have had something very systematic? Every year we do this, 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 and this, so that next year when we start, it works perfect.
I'll answer that. I was in Park and Rec for many years, and so water parks are challenging, right? I mean, we're in winter, Minnesota, and we got a lot of freeze and thaw going on, so this is not uncommon. That's why the gentleman or the company is probably so busy, right? So we're not the only one that has a break. But to your point of how do we do better, is what better practices do we have? And we're working with staff on saying, how do we best take them down in the fall and make sure they're winterized properly and then their startup is there. And, and how best do we have maybe some of these resources on hand of maybe testing some of this so we're not so dependent on 3 weeks that we have to wait until it. So we continuously want to look at how we do it. I know I've talked with Jason, who used to be a building official and our building inspector, and he said, a lot of times they ask to have it repressurized before they move on to the next job, so in case there's more than one break, and I think that's what tripped us up this time, so we thought we had a break, and we had more than one break, and so noted that we can do better.
Okay, one quick follow-up question. I don't know if the audience knows West Hills basically closed down because the state changed the rules on how the pool's supposed to operate. And that was 5 years ago that we'd already fixed it once. I mean, are they gonna change the rules over and over? And at what point is it just enough is enough?
So West Hills is more than just the grate and the drain, which is that state law. That's that Abbey law that makes sure you have the right grates in place. There was other breaks that happened in there along with some air handling issues that are happening too. So West Hills keeps giving. It has a few other things than just one fix, but we're trying to fix the one and see how we can move it forward. So I don't have a great answer to you, but it was not just one issue at West Hills.
And if I can just add one comment, Doug, to how can we do better? I think enlisting the professionals like ICS to help us with that comprehensive facility assessment and helping us lay out that 10-year CIP to make sure that we know what we need to do to be staying on top of this regular maintenance. It's not with the facility, it does see wear and tear due to the weather. And I think having a plan like this and then working that plan is how we can do better by taking it a chunk at a time and making sure that we're proactively staying on top of it.
Or we just basically have to accept the fact that it's gonna be something every year, regardless. Something's gonna be broken, something's not gonna work every year.
At 17 years old, I think you start seeing some of that stuff life cycle out. And it's going to be a house at 17, it seems like a roof comes due. I money, so I think we're at that hard spot right now with the water tower. But it is used by 31,000 people every year. I don't know if we'll reach that number this year, but.
If they paid $50 a piece, it'd be okay.
This question is probably for Chris. Chris, with the scope of the work of this contract, are you gonna help us with best practice when we close the pool, open it up for the preceding years? Is that?
Yes, if it's not us, it'll be our pool consultant re-engineer.
Okay, so
We
within.
do a lot of pools around the state, so they'll have some best practices to consider and can maybe even jump in as we get into the project and see some other things.
And I think if I'm correct, you being the general contractor, I mean, you're not going anywhere, because I think we had some work done before where the general contractor probably did not do as great a job as they should, and they walked away. I know you guys are gonna be here.
So we'll serve as the construction manager, but overseeing all of the contractors and specialty scopes of this project.
And you're not going away.
We're not going.
Thank you.
So I've got a question, Chris. We've had tile issues from year 2. After the first winter, tiles were falling off. Had companies putting them back on. We've had, and that happens every year. It's Minnesota. Now we're gonna be replacing all or most of the tile. Do we need to put tile in? Why wouldn't it be fiscally better to just have a different paint style on the top where tile has been?
We can definitely entertain that during the design phase of the project if that's something that's desired.
Would that be a cost savings, just guess?
Slight.
Slight,
Yeah,
okay.
but I do take the point. I mean, it does make sense to not put tile back in a freeze-thaw environment where it's constantly popping.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from council? Dan?
Again, I'm kind of conflicted with this. Certainly as an amenity for the community to have this. It's certainly an expensive amenity, and I would certainly like more input from the public. What should we do with this water park? Every year is maintenance, 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 and every year is keep the levy down, down, down. This is one of those things that is a continuing expense year after year. Sure be nice to hear from the community. Should we keep after it? Should we get rid of it? I don't see. I'd like more input than just, you gotta cut the levy.
Don?
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. I was just pointing.
Anything else? And I would just add, I appreciate Dan's concerns, but we also have maintenance, ongoing maintenance every year at the golf course, at the library, all of our buildings. We have 100-year-old plus buildings that are in constant need of repair. And while, yeah, the pool is only 17 years old, last year Faribault's was shut down all year because they had a lot of these same situations. Unfortunately, that's the beast of business when you get into an outdoor water facility in the upper Midwest. And tonight before us is basically to spend $1.5 million to move ahead.
And to clarify a little bit, to Councilman Boke's point, the plan that staff landed on to accelerate the first 3 years, that gets the bulk of the major things done. From here on out, you'll start to be able to plan a little bit more accordingly. Because what'll mainly be left is the slides, some of the walkway with the slides on the ladder, and then I believe the parking lot out front. The other items become less and less more expensive. You've already placed most of the mechanicals throughout the facility, so you're in really good shape there. So this is kind of the last major item, other than the unforeseen piping issue that's being investigated right now.
And what we're doing tonight, we are not approving $1.5 million. We are approving professional services agreement with ICS.
So as long as I'm rolling, let me roll. It seems like, Chris said, sure you do a great job for us, but it seems like we can't turn around and blow our nose without consulting ICS. I don't care what project we've got, we're looking at 1.5 million, and we're gonna spend close to 200,000 with a consultant. And what's Chris gonna do? And ICS, they're gonna contract a pool specialist construction company. Why don't we consult a pool construction specialist company? I'm sure a large company like that will have a plan, a maintenance plan for us. We bring them in and they say, yeah, here's what you do here, 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 this date, that date, shut it up, close it down. At some point in time, we've got to be able to do something without consultants, whether it's ICS or somebody else. Specialist on staff, nobody can know about the pool. I realize we don't have a police and fire builder guy on staff, but my goodness, we just spend so much money on consulting, and in some cases, can we not give the consultant or the large specialized contractor that does this kind of work? And sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but that's been about it.
If I can
No
respond.
responses needed.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to respond, Dan, because I think you bring up good points, and we've tried it the other way too. And if I can share what that looks like is, without Chris coming in, or ICS, or whichever professional services contractor would come in, what we would do is we'd invite somebody to come up to the pool and say, hey, can you help us with these issues? And they just go at it. There's no plan, there's no scope of work, and then there's nothing to hold them to because we don't have a document that says this is the work that you're supposed to do. So it's kind of like inviting somebody in to build you a new garage. And you say, hey, we just need that garage built. And they come in and they build it the way they want to do it. So what this approach does, and because we kind of got in some trouble doing it, we don't have the expertise. If we got the expertise, the budget would be a lot higher because we can't have a subject expert on every topic. And so that's where these consultants do come in to help. And you can beat on Chris all you want, he can handle it. But I do want to give the piece that has been really, really valuable to us is being able to have that subject expert that can come in and design plans and scopes. So when we put it out to bid for the public to bid on a $1.5 million project, we can hold them now accountable to making sure that the work is done, the warranty's in place, the punch list is done, it's commissioned, it's running the way it is. And without those documents, we wouldn't have that ability to do it. And so I feel like that's some stuff that has tripped us up in the past by not having that. And I know paying consultants is a lot of money, but not having it done right costs us more too. And so I just wanna, not standing up for ICS, they can stand on their own, but from staff, I can tell you it's really, really helpful. Because I'm not that subject expert to the level that ICS brings to the table on this project.
And if we keep after this program and something goes wrong, does ICS make us whole? I think they turn around and get after the contractor just like what we would.
So our warranty is what we would go after.
Yes.
So, right, so that's in place, and then we'd be able to go after that for that.
And being a bit of a coupon shopper, when do we get the buy one, get one?
For the record, Dan, this effort, last year's walkthrough, that was part of the original assessment. We did that work, walked through the facility for free.
And I've got a comment in regards to ICE. A few years ago, ICS, I'm sorry. I do not have a comment to ICE.
Can't wait to hear this comment.
ICS was our consultant with Merrill Hall. It was a project that, with ICS running the project, came in under budget. We were able to also refinish the floors for the little theater on the first floor. Had we done it ourselves, that would not have gotten done. So the savings that ICS was able to find through their managing that project got us to finish that Merrill Hall at a better looking facility than it would have the other way.
And if I can add, I had no headaches with dealing with them. They were a class act and took care of the job. And so that's not always the case on some of our projects.
Yes.
Just one comment, Kevin, if I may. I came from the construction industry, and if you don't have plans and specs put together and have them pretty tight, you can't hold somebody accountable. So I would strongly encourage that we continue on this process, to have somebody that's gonna be the general contractor. I'll use that term, that's what I'm familiar with. Do the plans and specs, because I don't think we have somebody on staff that's gonna be able to do that. I can't imagine we're running so lean that we can take somebody out of what they're doing and have them manage this project. So, again, that's just from my side. So, that's my 2 cents.
Anyone else? Hearing none, for motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Who made the motion? Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Don, do I have a second? Second by Nate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Who were our names?
You guys got 5-2. Mr. Volkey and Mr. Voss. So our final miscellaneous item tonight is 3.3.4, tobacco license for K&L Co-op doing business as West Hills One Stop. And back to City Administrator Tillman.
Yeah, thank you. The city received a tobacco license application from the company of K&L Cooperative. They're doing business as West Hills One Stop at the 590 State Avenue location, which is the building just north of us here. It used to be the old Casey's store. K&L recently purchased this property, and the operations of the name will be the West Hills One Stop. A tobacco license do not transfer for previous owners, and so they have applied for a license, and it is still in background. I wanted to ask council to approve a contingent on the background passing. They are looking to start business by July 1st.
Thank you. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Nate to approve, do I have a second? Second by Brent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Owatonna Public Library will be our staff report, so we welcome Mr. Mark Landau.
Good evening all, thank you. It seems like every time I do my staff report, I pack the house, so you're welcome.
You sell tickets again.
Just gonna give you a highlight of our first few months here for 2026. This is just a snapshot. If I was gonna talk about all the awesome stuff we did, we'd be here for a long time, so appreciate your time here. One of the things we did to cap off our 125th celebration was our Library Con. Library Con is, there's like Comic Cons and things like that. Events where people can come and celebrate all things, whatever they're interested in. This was all things library. So there's my awesome staff on the left there getting ready for Library Con. One of the events that we did was bookend painting. So we had the public come in and paint some bookends, and those are gonna be on display, helping hold up our books for all to see. So people left a little bit of themselves for the library for a long time. We had rock painting, we had towel painting, we had trivia contests, we had a dance party. We really celebrated big time for our capping of our 125th anniversary. It wouldn't be remiss if I wouldn't mention that our friends in Blooming Prairie, as you know, the Blooming Prairie Branch Library of Owatonna, they're celebrating their 50th year in operation this year. So just make sure you check out their website to see all the awesome things that are going on. But one of the things I was lucky enough to attend was their 50th kickoff with Minnesota author Ellen Eskins. Ellen is a former attorney turned author, New York Times bestselling author, so he was gracious enough to spend some time with us down in beautiful Blooming Prairie. If you've not been down to their library, I encourage you to go visit. The next thing we did was 80s Mystery Night. That is a motley looking crew right there, but we had a mystery with 80s garb and 80s theme. It was Who Stole DJ Jazzy turntable. There's DJ Jazzy, our librarian, Allison Lutzenville. I am Marky Mark over there, and we have a variety of staff that really gave us a chance to ham it up and have a lot of fun, and just another way to bring people in and do things you wouldn't normally associate with going to the library. So we had a great time reliving the 80s that night. We also had the opportunity, a couple weeks ago, we had a really big day on Thursday, the 4th. We had our summer reading kickoff. There's Darla and Jeff getting ready for the masses. Our theme this year is Unearth the Story, so dinosaur theme. One of the awesome things we have going on, our awesome streets department is letting us borrow a backhoe. Kids are not allowed to drive the backhoe. I'm trying to get that as a something that they could use. They can come and sit in the backhoe and take pictures. So Barney the backhoe will be there. We also were able to help kick off the first Thursday. We had a wonderful time down there. We had other staff members. We had Pick a Pop, where there's Maria, Allison, and Darcy helping to spread the gospel of the library, give away some books, and just interact with the public. One of the things we did last year that was a huge hit, and is already a huge hit this year, is our adult summer reading program. We had, adults come up when the kids would come pick up the reading log, it's like, why can't we get rewarded for reading too? So we came up with an adult summer reading program. You pick up a reading form, you read so many minutes, you get tickets to enter into some really cool prizes. So we partnered with local businesses, Little Professor, Old Town Bagel, to help just people read and get cool stuff for reading. So I don't think the library or city staff is eligible to win, but you can still do it just for the fun, just for knowledge. There you go. One of the things we do have coming up to help celebrate our 250th anniversary as an awesome country here is we're having a Teddy Roosevelt impersonator. Teddy comes and talks about his life and times as pre-president years, as president years. The guy looks a lot like Teddy Roosevelt. You have to give him credit there. So Teddy will be there on Monday, July 20th at 6 p.m. in our gaming room. So if people are interested to hear a little bit of history about one of our most famous presidents, please come to the library on the 20th. One of the other things we kicked off just last month is our own newsletter. So the newsletter is called One Page Left, OPL. You've heard nothing if not clever at the library. This is just giving people another outlet to get information about the library. New releases that are coming on. I have a little director's article that we talk about some of the cool databases we have and just events that are going on. So people can subscribe to this on the city's website or just come into the library and ask one of us. We'd be more than happy to get you hooked up with One Page Left. And I know I keep talking about this, but I want to just reiterate how awesome this program is. This is our State Park Pass program. What this is a week pass to any state park in Minnesota. 3 park passes available, first come, first serve. But if you have a library card, another reason to get a library card, you can come in. They are very popular in the summer, but you might get lucky. But what this gives you is just that, a week at any state park. So we always want you to buy those year-long passes, but we understand sometimes you just want to go for a week. You maybe don't know exactly when you're going to be going. So come to the library to get your state park pass. That is one of our most popular programs. And last but not least, another thing we really are proud of is our podcast. Who do we think we are? Again, cleverness, the Dewey Decimal System. We do this every month. These are all up on our library website, city website. It's just an opportunity for us to get together to talk about, we are talking about the Dewey Decimal System now. May sound boring, but we actually make it kind of fun. Just talk about what we're reading and just different things that are going on in the library. So I really encourage you to check out who we think we are. We also have the podcast equipment we're going to be making available, hopefully to the public here soon, where if you have an idea for a podcast but you don't know how to get started, we have the equipment at the library. You can come. We have a room upstairs on our 3rd floor. Check out our podcast equipment, go and record your podcast, and we can help you with the microphones, the headphones, and all of the good stuff there. So keep an eye out on that for, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have that ready to go. Any questions about the role of libraries?
Doug? Quick comment. Had the grandkids at the puppet show last Thursday. Oh, they thought it was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. And yeah, every Thursday during the summer, we have programs going on. We have Professor Norman, the tradition this Thursday, so I do appreciate you saying that. And you need to burn a morning with the grandkids, nieces, nephews, whoever, come to the library.
That's at what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I have to get up early, so.
Yes.
A question, and I believe I know the answer. We're in the process of estimating a repair for the roof, right?
Yep.
Just basically information for the constituents. It's just a continuing drain. We're looking at a lot of money again for the roof. And by the way, the elevator shaft did leak again, right?
It did.
Depending on the rain and the wind. So I mean, it's just.
It's an old building that was, when they put it together, some parts just didn't fit a little bit, but we appreciate the support on getting us fixed up there.
Anything else for Mark?
Thank you.
Thank you. And try to have fun at work, will you? Appreciate it. We're now at the public comment. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Approach the microphone, sign in, state your name and address for the record after being acknowledged by the council president. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes to deliver their comments. Council Vice President Voss will be timing and holding up a hand after 2 minutes 45 seconds to notify the speaker they have 15 seconds to complete their comment. Those speaking are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner as they deliver their comments. Audience members are asked to refrain from reacting to comments. The City Council will not respond directly to comments in this venue or take immediate action in response to them. With that, the public comment portion is now open.
I'll pick this up again.
This is the person that was in the used car business over the weekend.
No?
Couple of little tykes.
Oh, yes.
Gotcha.
Sold too. Good evening, Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive.
Good evening.
Over the last several months, residents have attended meetings, submitted comments, signed petitions, reviewed documents, asked questions, and participated in the process. Yet once again, I'm hearing criticism of the public for participating. When there is public opposition, the response seems to be that there wasn't enough input. When residents provide input, we're told that there was too much. The public is not the problem. The public is doing exactly what citizens were supposed to do, participate. First, I appreciate the city honoring the reverse referendum petition to allow residents the opportunity to vote on the proposed $65 million police and fire project. Residents followed the process, met the requirements, and made their wishes clear. Tonight, the city finally respected that process. But tonight's discussion about the Lee property highlights the same problem that we've been talking about for years. Where was the public? We're right here. We have thoughts, we have questions, we have ideas. Yet we were only made aware of this proposal 3 days ago, and tonight was the first opportunity to learn about it. How can the public provide meaningful input on something they never even were given the opportunity to understand? I have questions. Does the city retain the first right of purchase with the ownership change? What protections exist to preserve the long-term integrity of West Hills campus? Are there future implications residents should understand? The point is, residents should have the opportunity to ask them before decisions are made, not after, and they shouldn't be criticized for participating. The same issue exists with parks. The North Country neighborhood has been waiting almost a decade for a neighborhood park. 8 years ago, I contacted the city about the need, and we were told equipment would be installed as other parks were upgraded. Since then, multiple parks have received improvements while North Country has continued to wait. And the nearest park is more than 3 miles away by travel. An entire neighborhood lacks reasonable access to the same amenities available elsewhere in the community. And for many of us, this discussion doesn't happen in a vacuum. North Country residents are already facing potential life-altering impacts from the East Side Corridor. We're being asked to absorb increased traffic, noise, safety concerns, and changes to our neighborhood while still waiting for basic amenities that other parts of the city take for granted. If we cannot afford to develop and maintain the parkland we already have, why are we purchasing additional land that will require maintenance and future investment? What is the plan to fund these parks? Are grants being pursued? When will existing commitments be fulfilled?
Are these truly intended to become parks, or are they simply city-owned properties being held for future development at the city's discretion, similar to what occurred post-lease site at West Hills? From where I sit, some neighborhoods continue to bear impacts while others receive amenities. Should we fix the water park? I would say yes. Right now I'm taking my tax dollars out of Owatonna. The water park breaks even. What about Brook Tree? That costs taxpayers more than $250,000 each year. Residents deserve to understand the plan. More importantly, residents deserve to be included before decisions are made. Please stop treating the public participation as an inconvenience. The public is not an obstacle. Public participation is the entire point. I know.
I'm not a stranger. Myrtle Trader for East Main Street. I want to humbly thank the council for what they did here tonight by the taxpayers of Owatonna. We failed to mention that on 2013, the council that was sitting here, none of you, but maybe Mr. Walker was here, that they requested the West Hills property to be put on the National Historic Register, and it was accepted. And Harvey Marlin, who grew up at the state school here and worked in Owatonna, was part of started the movement, he and his wife Maxine. And it was tough, but he was always thankful for the upbringing he had here at the orphanage. I invite you to go up to the museum and look at the guest registration. There are signatures from all over the United States, and even from out of the United States, from the world. Then go over and walk through that cemetery. Don't be in a hurry. Look at some of those little crosses, and I guarantee you won't come out without a tear in your eye. They all had the same start, but when they were brought here, it was too late to bring them here. I think the council should consider putting a billboard out on Highway 35 advertising this as the home of the West Hills Public School for abused and indigenous children. We have the only one in the United States. You're sitting on a national treasure here. You should have a billboard at both ends. I know they're the ones that Homa Federated, Homa this. We need something to tell the world that we were also the West Hills State School. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Lynn Holtness, 1070 Truman, and it's L-Y-N-N-E, not the other Lynn Holtness. Thank you for putting this on the ballot. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that it's going to get on the ballot. Don't build it at West Hills. We do have a national treasure here, and a beautiful campus, and a police station is not really going to make it any better. In fact, it's probably going to knock it off the National Registry. Don't put it here. You have a lot of other land and a lot of other acreage. Find a different place to put it. Don't build it here. Build it somewhere else. You might have a better chance of having this ballot passed if you put it somewhere else. My father and his sisters were brought here when their mother passed away, and they all have different stories of how they grew up, lived here, went to different farms, that type of thing. But they were all very successful. Don't ruin West Hills, but thank you for putting it on the ballot. And now you ask about the water park, if you want our input, when all along for the last, 6 years you didn't want our input? Interesting. Put a dome over the water park, maybe. That winter won't affect it, I don't know. The water park doesn't matter to me. West Hills matters to me. Please don't destroy it. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Gail Jorgensen, 249 East Main. Thanks for listening to us, and I hope we can keep conversations going and that you listen to us about other things. For me, the water park very much matters. Swimming matters. The most important thing you can teach a child is to tread water and to get out of a situation. And that's one thing that swimming very much, the swimming pool teaches you, whether it's indoor or outdoor. But the water park especially is a forum where community comes together, especially these little ones. And kids from other communities come and meet OTAN kids, and they play together. They're not on a team, they're not forced to take one for the team. They're playing together, they're negotiating together, they're learning, and they carry these things on. They'll remember the bullies. They'll remember if there's bullies at OTAN. They'll remember how they're treated here. The park's down. We went to Mankato, it was great. I paid attention to houses that were for sale. You think the other mothers and grandparents aren't doing the same thing? You know, people want a water park. Well, a swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool, indoor swimming pool. I'm not a big fan of the Riverwalk, that's a different thing. I grew up in a community where we had a beautiful big pool that was put in by the WPA, and it was unheated. We really need to have the temperature up that high at the swimming pool. You know, it's hotter than my bath water many, many times. You know, it's not just because of all the little kids in the pool either, it's just how they're setting the temp. And also look at all the different grants and opportunities. You know, this pool might not qualify for historic money, but the West Hills pool does. And the West Hills pool is very much a part of that story, teaching the kids self-reliance and teaching this whole community how to swim. And that's important too. Maybe there's art grants that can help with parks. And then there's different national resources, you know, look out what's out there. But yeah, this pool, the swimming is incredibly important to community. Building community and continuing community. Thank you.
Anyone else this evening?
Well, good evening, everyone. Sarah Sanchez from Riverside Avenue here in Owatonna. Good to see everybody. Thank you very much. First off, just want to start by thanking and recognizing the great work that was done by our city, the citizens, and this administration. I believe we could do and have done some pretty great things when we truly work together. I also want to say that I know our town wholeheartedly appreciates those who serve our community every day and recognize that there is a need for strong police and fire services and that we should support them. But our concerns tonight were not simply about the proposed project itself, but about the process. Thousands of residents took the time to sign a petition because they wanted a voice in this decision. Nearly 10% of our city's population participated in that petition and its process. It's not a small group. It's a significant portion of this community asking to be heard. And whether they were in support of the project or opposed it, they just wanted to have a final decision, and rightfully so, by the people who ultimately will pay for it. Now, right now, many families are struggling, and I did write this before we took the vote, but it's really just acknowledging that we are all friends, we're neighbors, and we support the goal of improved facilities, but also with any fixed budget, they're rightfully concerned about size, timing, and cost of the project as currently proposed. So I'm grateful that we're gonna get a chance to have that vote so that we can work together towards a different stage, a different option. And what I really want to acknowledge is that as this incredible community that Owatonna is and was built to be, we've done this. This has been part of our process. We are great because, and I thank you, because we honor the spirit of public engagement that this community has already demonstrated. 10% of our population. We have to allow our citizens to continue to have a direct voice in this project of this magnitude. We must continue to gather input, continue to discuss alternatives, to continue to refine the plan and let the voters decide. We, the Owatonna people, thank you and trust you to lead up and bring us ideas and solutions. But we, the people, must also take responsibility in making those decisions. We, the people who live here, who make this town what it is, we pay the taxes to make these projects possible, must trust each other. Finally, for the record, we must all remember that this was never a question of whether the council members or us as a community were acting in good faith. It was a question of whether we would work together to get voter approval on a project that this size deserves.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Gary Jones, 995 Ridge Road, and yes, I am still around. Good evening. I think April 2023, I was surprised with a medical condition that quietly became life-threatening alarmingly fast. I had no pain, but symptoms were quietly adding up to a trip to the ER and a helicopter ride to Abbott. Last night I was visiting with a neighbor who mentioned that some years back he had a surgery that had symptoms showing up later that were going to quietly kill him. We were talking about the same thing, my backdoor neighbor. He also was in very bad shape from the silent killer that you hear very little about, but quietly and indiscriminately ends thousands of lives every year, all without a sound. I think we have to get out of the mindset with the archery hunt, that just because something is quiet, we can get by with it. Arrows are quiet, but they also indiscriminately kill. That is what they're designed to do. We all know that if the archery hunters were using shotguns with slugs, ones would be ringing off the hook to the police station. Yet when the killer is silent, the danger can be ignored. A severe weather siren warns people of a tornado and they can take shelter. Shotguns hunting with slugs are noisy and would notify homeowners of hunting in the area, as they did not want to let their dog out, grill steaks on the back deck, or get those leaves raked because it was dangerous outside. But just like the tornado sirens, noise may warn people, but I found out from my own health issues that a silent killer is as dangerous as one that has a warning siren going on. Now, we all know that there are ways to make the archery hunt safer in Owatonna. It's no longer at Manthey, that is great. We made great strides in improving the safety of this hunt, moving the stand away from Scott Scrambler and Kaplan's, that was great. Eliminating the south stand in Mineral Springs, that was right next to the homeowner's residence on Oakview. That was great also. And I was also, I'll always be thankful to the city council people that met with us out there and took a look at it, and it was changed. The north stand is still a little bit more remote. May not have the disc golf traffic that the south stand does, but it's right in the middle of homes on Oakview, Denmark Place, and Springwood Place, most of whom have no idea there's any archery hunter just beyond their backyards. There are ways to make it better. You folks already have. Get it out of Mineral Springs, send it north of town to the city-owned property there, or keep this in more remote parks without foot traffic or homeowner danger right there that we currently have in Mineral Springs. You've made great improvements. We have some simple changes yet that can greatly improve safety yet. Remember, as my neighbor and I found out, silent can also be deadly. Thanks very much.
Anyone else this evening?
Kurt Walker, live at 2045 Deer Trail Lane. I've got Friesel Park, Maple Creek in my backyard. 10 months ago, my wife sent an email to the city regarding trees that have collapsed into the river blocking Maple Creek, and asking what the city can do about it because it is causing a lot of erosion, pushing water, backing up water, etc. The answer we got in just was, we've got too many miles of creeks, streams, woodlands in the city, and we don't have the resources to maintain those. But was told that I will forward your message to the staff so they can assess the situation and look for reasonable solutions. 10 months ago, no reply on that. Well, I want to thank Councilman Burbank for bringing up the discussion you had in your study session on park dedication fees. Well, if you don't have the money to maintain the parks you have, why do you want more? That's just going to be more parks that you can't maintain. You know, and then Councilman Burbank asked, well, you know, we would have liked your input. We wish we would have had a developer here to have your input. Well, you know, if there's stakeholders that can answer questions at a study session, it might make sense to invite them. Councilman Volke, you asked people to give our input. Well, if we're not asked, if we're not kept abreast of things that are coming up that affect us as stakeholders, how can we give our input? We shouldn't have to review the study session agenda and the council agenda every week. There's 2 of us in town that own most of the developable land right now. And I don't believe either of us have been talked about at all about the park dedication fees. So, do you really want our input, or are you just saying you want our input? Because if you want our input, invite us into the conversation for the stakeholders in the community. But don't just give it lip service to have input without inviting us in to things that are intimately involve our businesses or our work. You know, park dedication fees, I'll tell you what I told Councilman Burbank. If you had $1 to my cost to develop, you're gonna add $1.10 more to the cost of the lot. You say houses are unaffordable, not enough houses are built in town, not enough lots are developed. Well, add more cost to developing lots and you'll get less. Okay.
Seeing no one come forward, that is that portion. We're now up to council members. First up tonight is Councilmember Spenby. Councilmember Voss.
Well, I already mentioned the outstanding puppet show at the library, so thanks for your presentation, Mark. You do a great job down there. Thank you.
Councilmember Dotson. Councilmember Burbank. Councilmember Volke.
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I've seen things spread like wildfire on Facebook. Some of them true, some of them not so true. I think our itinerary was published on Friday. And if there were people that were interested in the hospital, they would have seen that. If they were interested in being involved, if they were interested in transparency, there it was. Not a single peep. I didn't get one call about it. And I think that's kind of a little bit hypocritical, and that we're concerned about this side of the West Hills, but not about that side of the West Hills. We had 5 days, and I've seen responses to things in 15 minutes. So if there's something to get out, whoever runs whatever concerned citizens of Owatonna, why was it out there? It was reprinted in Citizens of Owatonna that was on the agenda. No one cared, okay? Last night, here again, I've been on the council, I think 4 years, The first year I was appointed and was not much of a factor in budget. Last night was our first budget kickoff to try and determine what was going on. 0 people here. 0. Again, this has been advertised in all the Facebook and all the, wherever we advertise our itinerary. If you want to be involved, get on that stuff.
City
I'm
doesn't
not
push anything.
a dad here eating out baby food. If you want to get involved. But don't get involved in just half of it. Now, so far we wasted 2 hours. We didn't waste, we got down to some good stuff. We spent 2 hours on the budget, 0 public impact. So it's hard for us to say, here's what we're gonna go ahead and do, here's what we're looking at, and then we come down to the bottom line and we go, no, 13%. When no one's been involved to see what the 13% dealt with. I'm just begging for help here. And Kurt, same thing with you. Sorry, I shouldn't point you out, I'm sorry. It's been on the itinerary. Right? Come on up, say, hey, what the heck's going on with this parkland? What are you doing with it? I mean, I don't have everyone's phone number to call up and say, hey, we're talking about the hospital over here, you want to be interested? I mean, it's a two-way street.
Town
You know,
halls.
and we can't be so thin-skinned, especially up here, you can't be thin-skinned. We also can't be that thin-skinned in the audience and our taxpayers when you get called out for something. I think Old Town is great, got a great community, we've got a great staff. Do we face issues and problems? Absolutely. But together we can get after it and get it done. But not butting heads and trying to, I got you, or this is doing that. That's not gonna work. Amen, brother.
Councilmember McCann.
Just a comment, we had our downtown Thursday, and we had a booth for the city, we had a section for the library was there as well, and police and fire was there talking, and numerous members of the city council were there for an extended period of time. I probably had maybe a dozen people come up and talk to me about the police and fire station, but again, that is an opportunity for you to come and talk to us one-on-one about whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be just the police and fire station. We're gonna be there. Sometimes it's kind of intimidating when you're here, but when we're one-on-one, hey, come talk to us. We're willing to listen. Jenna was there, staff was there, the mayor was there. We're not being standoffish. We were willing to talk to, I know the police chief was talking, we have the firefighters were down. So come see us. We're gonna be here. We're not afraid to talk to you. Like, it's Dan was saying, talk to us, tell us what you think. And there are opportunities. I think everyone that emailed us today, I sent something back to saying, hey, come tonight and listen to what's gonna happen. There were people that were asking other things. I said, yeah, budget meeting, look on the website, look on the public channel. The meetings are there. So again, I'm not chastising anyone for anything. We're available to you. Just reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Jessup.
Just a couple of things. Mr. Blondo, the adult summer reading program, I hope that is wildly successful. Come and see me tomorrow. I will pick up my card. Spending my day downtown Owatonna, the granite installation replacing the broken limestone. The 100 block is complete. It looks beautiful. Come down and check it out. It's been just fabulous to see happen. These guys are working very hard in really hot weather, in cold weather, in the rain, busting their butts to try to get this downtown area finished. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. Reminder that city offices will be closed on Friday for the Juneteenth holiday, and if you're available, come to the Juneteenth celebration put on by the Alliance for Greater Equity at Manthey Park from 5 until 8. And then just in case anybody missed it, there's a guy sitting in the back of the room who is retiring.
Allegedly.
And we would like to thank him for several decades of dedicated service to the city of Elgin.
Here too, Mom.
Yes, I just have a couple of items. One, we've been highlighted a couple of times about the budget meeting that was yesterday. We recorded that. It will be on our website later this week if it's not up already, but soon it'll be posted of the evening meeting. Also, that will be kicking off today, it already has this afternoon, is another website about police and fire. It's called Your Protection, ourpriority.gov. It's loaded with information on the background and the information that people can find out, learn more on that. And so, Your Protection, ourpriority.gov. That's all, thank you.
Thank you. For me, we've had an empty seat over here probably since around the first of the year. She's been in a couple of meetings, but not many, that I'm talking about Jeanette Clausen. Unfortunately, her husband lost his battle with leukemia last week. Jeanette has had a tough start to 2026. She will be back. We look forward to her coming back, but I just ask that you keep Jeanette in your prayers and thoughts. She's a very huge asset to the city of Owatonna. She makes us look good, you know, and very rare that she makes a mistake, and she corrects a lot of things. And we've missed her presence up here for the last 5.5 months. It was sad when we received the email last week. So just please keep Jeanette in your thoughts and prayers. With no other business before us, I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Dan to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Donnie. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Adjourn. Thank you.
The server's down or whatever. There's also DHS.